Has Jim McMahon's season ended before it began? Can Mike TOMCZAK provide leadership at quarterback? Will Doug FLUTIE start throwing? Will William Perry stop growing? And can that spectacular defense lead the NFL for the 4th consecutive year? Those are some of the questions facing the Chicago Bears as they get set to open the 1987 season against the world champion New York Giants in less than 24 hours. We'll examine those topics tonight, plus many more, as we present a special preseason edition of Bears Bonus, Countdown to Kickoff. Bears Bonus Countdown to Kickoff, a look at the 1987 Chicago Bears. The countdown to the 1987 season officially kicked off on August 1st when the Bears hit the practice field at Platteville, Wisconsin. 4 years ago, when the agreement between the Bears and the university here began, Platteville was a spacious, semi-private training location perfect for a National Football League team. Then came the Super Bowl, followed by fans, thousands of fans, pouring into Platteville for a peek at William Perry or Jim McMahon. All of a sudden, it wasn't so spacious anymore.
Well, unfortunately, we created an animal. You guys wrote about us, and everybody read those papers you wrote, those great articles, and they believe them. And they just come out here in hordes to see us. Drones.
But if you don't count writer's cramp, the Bears came through training camp in relative good health. That appeared to have included Jim McMahon, recovering from the shoulder injury and subsequent surgery that ruined his 1986 season. McMahon didn't play in the preseason opener at Miami, but midway through the following week of practice, Jim thought he might get in there against the Steelers.
Go in and hand off for a few plays or something. See how it feels.
Just as positive was the new relationship between McMahon and Mike DITKA. Last year, they argued openly in the media. This year, they opened some new channels of communication. It lasted until the final practice in Platteville. McMahon missed it to get his shoulder worked on, but nobody told DITKA that.
Did you check his room? What are you guys, nuts? It's not important about that stuff. I just made a statement. Now let it go. You write anything you want to write, but don't ask me if I checked his room. I didn't check his room, the bathroom, the closet. I didn't check any of that. And I don't intend to. I checked the field. He wasn't here.
Well, that storm blew over, even though McMahon did not play in that Steeler game. As it turned out, that was the least of his worries. We'll have more on Jim later on. But even without him, the Bears came up with some strong efforts in the preseason. It began in Miami. The Bears guessed at the opening of Joe Robbie Stadium, and 2 Chicago rookies stole the show. First-round pick Jim Harbaugh found second-round pick Ron Morris behind the secondary. A 65-yard fourth-quarter play that beat the Dolphins 10-3. Then the home debut, August 22nd against Pittsburgh. It was Mike TOMCZAK's turn to shine. 2 touchdown passes in the first half by Mike. Another dynamite defensive effort that included Otis Wilson's interception return touchdown. The Bears 50, the Steelers 14. 9 days later, the Cardinals came to town, riding a 5-game preseason winning streak against the Bears. They extended it to 6, thanks to Bear turnovers and this freak touchdown that finished the first half. St. Louis won it 20-16. And last weekend in Los Angeles, sloppy on offense but devastating on D, the Bears beat the Raiders 20-17. 11 sacks against L.A. quarterbacks. TOMCZAK bounced off the bench to hit Riley Walton for a game-tying touchdown in the final 2 minutes. Then, with exactly 1 second on the clock, Kevin Butler kicked a 42-yard field goal to win it. The Bears go 3 out of 4 in the preseason. One sight we did not see in the preseason was Jim McMahon throwing a forward pass in competition, and we won't see it for at least 6 weeks either.
It's the short passes, the 10, 15-yard out passes where it's got to go on a string, where he's got the problems.
Jim McMahon's shoulder exam in Los Angeles yielded the expected bad news that he was headed for the injured reserve list. Dr. Frank Jobe was happy with the healing process, but prescribed new exercises to make that shoulder area stronger. Like MacArthur, Jim will return. At least that's what the poster says, but he's out for a minimum 6 weeks. That makes Mike TOMCZAK the starting quarterback, but not exactly by default. Mike's been after that job since camp opened.
You know, I'm working on my arm strength and working on my foot quickness, and, you know, I've said before, I jumped a lot of rope and a lot of punching bags to develop that arm quickness, and it's just carrying over into camp.
TOMCZAK's hard work paid off. He's the only free agent quarterback in the NFL to have his name and Super Bowl mentioned in the same breath. But he's not Jim McMahon, and Mike wants people to know that.
Flutie flush. Throws it down. Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown.
The old miracle worker opens 1987 as #1 backup. At Boston College, Doug Flutie won the Heisman Trophy with that throw. After a year in the USFL, Doug joined the Bears last October. In his first real action, he conjured up some more of that BC magic.
Flutie takes rolling out left, being chased by Browner. Stops and heaves the left side of the end zone for Peyton over the shoulder. Saves for the touchdown!
But Flutie came up short, so to speak, in the playoff loss to Washington. And when camp started this season, he was fighting to make the team.
Freshman year of college, I came in, I was the 9th quarterback. So I'm used to working with a lot of numbers as far as that was concerned, but that was a while ago. And, you know, it's just new things to pop up all over the place, and you just got to learn to deal with it and adjust. And I feel like I'm putting my best foot forward.
Partly by attrition, partly by performance, Flutie made the squad. But if Jim McMahon comes back healthy, Doug's days may be numbered. Then there's the rookies. Jim's preseason passing and his maturity have opened a lot of eyes, though everyone agrees he'll need time to learn. One plus, after playing for Bo Schembechler at Michigan, Harbaugh should be able to cope with Mike DITKA.
Coach Ditka and Bo is like the same thing, really. I think I've been prepared real well with Coach Schembechler. And, you know, looking into Coach Ditka's eyes, it's like looking into Bo's eyes. So it's comfortable for me.
He'd win some games for you just alone on his competitive spirit until he got the knowledge of what was going on. I think he would win some for you just the way he plays the game if he could stay in one piece, because he's doing a lot of running right now.
Harbaugh's not the only rookie who made a name for himself in the preseason. Wide receiver Ron Morris came to the Bears in the second round from SMU, whose creepy reputation includes a lot of things, but a strong passing attack isn't one of them. Yet Morris has played so well, he's bumped veteran Dennis McKinnon to the second unit. Willie Galt's on the other side. Dennis Gentry will operate from wide and wing positions. Up front, the same old reliable group: Covert, Bort, Hilgenberg, Thayer, Van Horn, with Emery Moorhead at tight end. In the backfield, a new assignment for Neil Anderson, who's become the starting fullback. Mike Ditka trying to utilize the speed of Anderson and running back Thomas Sanders. And the catalyst here, well, it's the same as it's been for the last 12 seasons. Mike Ditka said the other day, the only thing constant about football is change. Well, he must have forgotten for a second about Walter Payton. Sweetness when we come back in just a moment.
Well, they call me Sweetness, and I like to dance. Running the ball is like making more man.
Walter Payton was a natural for the Super Bowl shuffle. After all, he's been dancing through life since he was a little boy in Mississippi. With